So you want to ace your final year of architecture school? Let me tell you how. Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Jenny, I'm a Part 1 architect student with a first class undergrad degree, and I'm currently a tutor at the University of Nottingham. In today's video, I want to share with you the 10 tips that absolutely saved me during my third year. Tip number 1, an hour a day. Sounds nice and simple, that's just because it is. The key for third year is all about consistency. Think about it like running a marathon. Imagine the deadline, June. You set yourself this goal of running a marathon. If from now until then you never do a single training run, right up until the last week, we all know things are not going to go well. So what I'd recommend instead is to be doing an hour of studio work every single day from now until then. Tip number 2, work in tandem. What exactly does this mean? Are you riding a bike? No. I think it's really great to develop your plans, your sections, and your models all at the same time. I found that consistently switching between these different mediums really helped through moments of, I guess, writer's block, if that's what you want to call it, but where you're just like, it's really great for ensuring that all parts or all aspects of your design are developed to the same standard. I certainly remember in my undergraduate degree, I would design something in plan, be like, oh yes, I have nailed this, and then I would elevate it and be like, oh, this is ugly. By switching between the different mediums, you can help prevent that instead of that being 1 week before the deadline and you're like, Tip number 3, time management. Third year itself, and in particular the final semester, things get quite busy, but you've got this. I really do believe in you. Find a system to plan out your time. The secret to success for third year and for architecture is to be great at time management. One way that I like to do this is to create to-do lists which are time-based instead of outcome-based. Tip number 4, presentation, presentation, presentation. It's like the program location, location, location. If your work isn't presented well, the sad reality is people are going to miss the great aspects of your design. I really think visual communication is such an important skill for architects, both in a degree and also in the real world, in a job. To do well, you have to present your work well. That's the truth of it, to be honest with you. Think about the way that you lay out panels, and think about how you can reduce complex systems or complex concepts into one page or into a diagram or into a sketch. This can really help to show off your buildings. You really want to show the best bits. Tip number 5, please, please, please listen to this one. Make time for yourself. Make time to enjoy third year or your final year. This is such a special time. You're coming to the end of your degree. Hopefully you've got some good mates by now, and sooner or later you'll be off in the world of work and be reminiscing on third year. And I want you to have a good time for it. Your brain really needs breaks. It's very similar to like exercising. Again, you can't run at 100 miles an hour all the time. It's just not sustainable. Give yourself a few hours of working and then give yourself a solid break, and your work will be better because of it. Tip number 6, 10 hours of work per credit. By doing the really quick calculation of how many hours you should be spending on a piece of work, you'll be in a much more informed position to block out your time. So there's a module that happens in Nottingham for final year, which is called IDA, and it's a 20 credit module. So 20 times 10, that means 200 hours of work. That's quite a lot, right? And you want to be doing this with studio in parallel. But if you calculate this early, like right now, you'll be able to block out enough time to get it done. But you've got this. I totally believe in you. Tip number 7, think of concepts like clothes. What the hell does that mean, Jenny? Well, let me tell you. I like to think of concepts across different scales. A few strong concepts will really take your design to the next level. If you can show your concepts across multiple scales, you're onto a winner. So what do I mean by this? What if one of your concepts is connecting people to nature through biophilia? How are we going to achieve this on the extra large scale? Well, think about master planning. Is it that in order to get to your building, you're connecting to an existing greenway in the city? Then on the large scale, that's about building level. Does your building, for example, have green walls and a green roof? Then we take the medium scale. So this is the sort of room scale. This might be something as simple as having a window with a view to the lovely trees that you're planting outside. On the small level, we're looking at an individual zone within the room. You've got a row of herbs in the center of the kitchen table so that people can pick their own herbs just before they're cooking. The final scale is extra small, so the detail scale. Maybe in this concept, it's something like using wooden fixes or making sure that the grain of any wood is visible on any beams or something. 8, be concise. 9, no, I'm only joking. I think I'm predominantly talking about renders here. In today's world, you've got so much access to really cool rendering software, but sometimes people can get a bit carried away. In reality, you only need 2 or 3 external visuals and 3 or 4 internal visuals. And you want these to all be really precise and really well thought out. Honestly, show off the absolute best parts of your project. Think about those key concepts and what you're trying to sell from your building and put that in the render. Add furniture, add lighting, add people into the render that would genuinely be the clients to your building. Also think about having a bit of fun with these, like can you add in little Easter eggs, I think they're called in the film industry. Penultimate tip, multiple mediums. Unlike first year, there's no set structure for your presentation. I found it extremely helpful to lay out my panels by one key theme or concept, and then show this theme being achieved across multiple mediums and multiple scales. You know, on one side of the page you might have a nice render, and then you might have a model at the top, and then a little concept diagram sketch at the bottom, and then some text. If you can get 2 or 3 of the following list onto one page, you're doing pretty well. Diagrams, sketches, models, renders, details, concepts. Final tip, be creative. I totally get it. Your thesis feels so important, and it feels like every single detail has to be perfect. But some of the best advice I was given is that this just isn't the case. You've spent the last 2 or 3 years creating portfolios and designs. You absolutely can do this. Have faith in yourself and have faith in your abilities. But just be creative, try new things, experiment, take that risk. 9 times out of 10, the risk will pay off, and you'll end up with something which is so much better than you could have first anticipated if you'd stayed pretty safe and within the realms of what you already knew. And I think the important thing is if you experiment throughout the final semester, you'll be able to get feedback on those experiments from your tutors. So, I mean, absolute worst case scenario, you've wasted a week of work. Can you try out a new presentation method? Can you build something wild? Like in my 3rd year, I built a solar water panel and I built a biodigester. You know, just try it, have fun. Sometimes those moments of fun produce the best pieces of work. This has been my 10 tips for organising a final year. I really hope you found this helpful, and if you did, please do leave a like, it really does help. And yeah, thank you ever so much for watching. It really does mean so much to me, and I'll catch you very soon. Bye guys!